Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee. The Steam Autumn Sale has just kicked off, so I'm here to give you 10 games that I recommend that are discounted pretty well. In fact, all 10 of these games, except for one of them, are $10 or less. Let's go ahead and kick this off with Darkest Dungeon, which is currently 60% off at $9.99. When this game came out back in January of 2016, it quickly became not only one of the hottest games on Steam, but one of the hottest games on Twitch as well. It's a dark fantasy RPG with turn-based combat and has an incredible art style, presentation, and one of the best narration jobs that I've ever seen in a video game. They continue to put out content, both free and DLC for this game, making a $9.99 an incredible value. You should really check this one out. Next up for number 2 is going to be Abzu. This is a very sit back, relax, and chill type of game. If you're familiar with a game called Journey, Abzu is right along the same lines as Journey. It's a game where it's all about just the atmosphere and exploration, the journey and the adventure of where you are. It's not a game that's going to be filled with a bunch of combat or a bunch of questing or a bunch of dialogue. You're just sitting back and enjoying the experience. So if you're looking for a very zen type of game, take a look at Abzu. For number 3, we're going to take a look at a little game called Banished. This game was made by one developer and is a game that I actually put quite a bit of time into. At its core, it's a city builder, but what sets it apart from other city builders is that it actually has survival elements as well. In most city builders, it's all about just creating the buildings, creating your town or city, and managing that. You are doing that in this game, but you also have to manage the lives of your individual citizens. You have to keep them alive. You have to assign them jobs. So in addition to all the city building elements, there's also the micro sim survival element as well. This game's absolutely fantastic, great overall art style. So if you're into city builders, definitely check this one out. Next up for number 4, we're going to take a look at one of the greatest RPGs ever made, and that is Dragon Age Origins, the Ultimate Edition, so you get everything. This is 75% off at $7.49. If you know anything about this game, you know that it's one of the most highly reviewed RPGs that's ever come out. It's just an absolutely fantastic story, fantastic combat, fantastic setting. This is back when BioWare was making really, really good stuff. They were at the top of their game. So if you have not played this, I cannot recommend a game any higher than Dragon Age Origins. Speaking of absolutely incredible games, one of the few that could potentially knock off Dragon Age Origins would be Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. If you weren't aware, this game has won more awards than any other game in history. The Witcher 3 is currently 50% off at $19.99, so this was the one game I was talking about that was not $10 or below. But The Witcher 3 in particular is just an absolutely fantastic story. Again, one of the best RPGs that's ever been created. Incredible environment, combat system, just every possible thing you could say, you would attach the word incredible to for this game. For number 6, we have Enter the Gungeon. This is currently 50% off at $7.49. This game is a little bit different. This is actually what they refer to as a roguelike bullet hell game, meaning you have your character and you're basically just dodging wave after wave after wave, or room after room after room of different attacks. You have an upgrade system as well, but really when it comes to the bullet hell genre, I would say personally it's right up there with some of the best ones that they've ever done. So if you're looking for a game that's very, very difficult and you don't mind the top-down art style that they're using for this game, you can definitely check out Enter the Gungeon. Also, really, really cool name. because, you know, everything in this game is basically a gun or a bullet. So you're literally entering the gun gen. All right, let's move on. For number 7, we're going to take a look at Firewatch. This is currently 60% off at $7.99. Now, when this game came out in 2016, it made my top 5 games of the year for 2016. This is one of the coolest story experiences I think I've ever seen in a video game. It's actually what they refer to as a walking simulator. There are definitely some actions that happen in the game, but overall you're simply experiencing the adventure of the main character, and the overall dialogue and voice acting in this particular game really sets it apart from a lot of the other games in the walking simulator genre. The character interaction between your main character and the gal in the other watchtower, if I'm remembering correctly, her name is Delilah, just the dialogue and relationship and friendship that the two of them make over the summer as they are watching over this forest. It's just absolutely a great experience. And as you've been seeing from the video here, I don't think the video actually does this game justice on how beautiful the game actually looks. Incredible atmosphere and an incredible art style. For number 8, let's go ahead and take a look at Wolfenstein The New Order. Now, this is the prequel to the new one that just came out. So if you want to go ahead and get this one at 50% off at $9.99, you'll be able to go ahead and grab this one before you play the new one. Now, for this one in particular, I can tell you that this one won all kinds of the Game of the Year awards in 2014 when it came out. The story, the scope, the gunplay, the crazy stuff that happens in this game is what this series has sort of always been about. Now, one question you might ask is, you've never played one of these and you want to get into it, where should you actually start? And actually, this is the one you'll actually want to start with. Go ahead and start with the New Order. After you get this one done, then go ahead and grab the new one. But overall, if you're just looking for some crazy stuff in a first-person shooter, this is going to be the game that you're going to want to get. For number 9, we actually have Bayonetta. If you weren't aware, this actually did get ported over to Steam, finally. But when they did the port, they actually did HD resolutions and 60 FPS. So it's a much improved version from the original that came out on the, I want to say it was 360 and the Wii, I think. Now, from what I've heard from people who have actually played this, they say that it's just, as I mentioned before, a much upgraded version. If you're not aware, there are currently 2 Bayonetta games out. Hopefully the second one will actually get ported over to Steam, as this first one has. Bayonetta, in particular, is known as one of the best spectacle fighter games that has ever been made. This is made by Platinum, who has an incredible track record for these types of games, and Bayonetta in particular has always been known as sort of the Sarah Palin lookalike. Who knows if the developers actually did that on purpose or not, but the very unusual female protagonist in this really sets the tone for what is overall a fantastic game and a fantastic experience. This is one that I have it, but I haven't had time to play it. But just from what I've heard from everybody, as I said, it is one of the best hack and slash spectacle fighters that's ever been released. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up with number 10, Antihero, 34% off at $9.89. This game in particular is something that's a little bit of a new trend, and the new trend is digital board games. And Antihero has been one of the better of these digital board games that has come out here recently. This one in particular was on July 10th of 2017. But this one has both single-player multiplayer and online multiplayer, along with local multiplayer. So it basically has all the angles covered on whether or not you want to play this against the AI or if you want to play this against a friend. The overall version or explanation of this particular game is that you are simply running a thieves guild. And you can kind of see from the video that's playing here a little bit, you start out on sort of one side of the town, and whoever you're playing against is on sort of the other side of the town. And you basically have the ability to get these minions, and you are sending them from building to building, taking things over, earning money, that sort of thing. And just overall, it's a really good digital board game that's come out. It's really neat, and this is one that I plan on streaming at some point down the road. It's just one that I haven't gotten around to, but it looks fantastic, and from everybody that I know who has played it, they've said that it's just a really, really fun game overall. So if you're into digital board games, go ahead and give this one a shot. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's sort of my top 10 for the Steam sale this time around. It seems like there's some games that would always make my top 10, like Darkest Dungeon. I mean, out of all 10 of those games, if I had to pick one, if you had just $10 in your wallet, Darkest Dungeon would be that one game I'd want everybody to buy. But there's so many other ones. I mean, we went through so many different genres there in particular. You know, again, spectral fighters, first-person shooters, walking simulators, bullet hells, RPGs. You know, Witcher 3 is more of a I was going to say first person, but it's not a first person. Third person, you know, RPG hack and slash, when Dragon Age is, you know, sort of top-down turn-based almost, because you can actually pause it and rearrange your guys and all that. And we go from a city builder, turn-based RPG from Darkest Dungeon, and a Zen game for Abzu. So I think we've got a lot of genres covered in that particular list. So hopefully everybody will be able to find something that they like and go ahead and get them cheap while you can, guys. Get them cheap while you can. But there you go. That'll go ahead and do it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.